Hi, welcome to my channel and podcast. Today I want to talk about a little country called Hungary. They are doing some wonderful things in Hungary, and I just found out about it yesterday listening to a program on TV. And it reminds me of the verses in the Bible that says, if our brother and sister is sad, we should be sad right along with them. If they're happy, we should be rejoicing with them. We should be down in the trenches with them, helping them whenever they need help. And it just took me to another place of thinking when I read about Hungary, about them, because I really never think about Hungary. They're a small little country, but they are really, really packing a punch when it comes to God's people. And they are reminding me of the city that sits on a hill, except for they are a country that sits on a hill. They are an example of what all other so-called Christian nations should be doing. And I'm not saying that they're not doing anything, but I am just pleasantly surprised. It's like you see America decline as a Christian nation, but it seems like, now I don't know where Hungary history is as far as Christianity, but it seems like they're rising to me because everyone else is declining. So without further ado, and me just rambling on about them, because I am so impressed with them and I have to remember to keep them in my prayers, I'm going to read this article about this, and I hope you enjoy. I try to bring some positive things to light about the world and what's going on as it relates to Christianity, because God knows there's so many negative things that are going on. But this is a good story, y'all. So I hope you stick with me for the whole video. So this story reads, the title of it is Hungary Defends Biblical Principles and Help the Persecuted. Hungary is a Christian nation. In Hungary, preserving Christian values is a government priority and helping persecuted Christians a moral obligation. Hungary is a Christian nation, states Tristan Asbej, tells CBN News. Now, for the remainder of this story, I'm just going to call him Tristan because I don't want to I don't think I pronounced his name correctly and his last name, and I don't want to keep pronouncing it incorrectly. So I'm just going to call him Tristan. He serves as a state secretary for the aid of persecuted Christians, and to hear him talk about Hungary's national dedication to biblical principle in today's world is a jaw-dropping experience. I'm sorry, I heard an alarm in the other room. We are trying to implement the social teaching of the Christian faith and biblical and Bible in our policies, and part of that is the protection of human dignity, human freedom, but also part of that is the protection of the sanctity of family and marriage, he said during a recent interview in Washington. Hungary helps. His position in a Hungarian government equivalent to that of Deputy Secretary in the U.S. It's designed for one purpose, helping persecuted Christians around the world through a program called Hungary Help. Christians are the most persecuted religion group in the world, Tristan explained, which I do agree with that. There are 340 million people who are discriminated or threatened or suffering genocidal attacks because of their faith in Christ, he continues. In 4 years, Hungary has supported 250,000 persecuted Christians, helped reconstruct 67 churches in Lebanon, and completely rebuilt the Christian town of Telskuf in Iraq after it was decimated by ISIS. Now, that number is such a great number to me because I looked up the country of Hungarian. And just to put it into perspective, Hungary's population is only 9.8 million people. Now, I looked up New York population because I thought that was a very small country, so I just wanted to compare it with one of the huge cities in America. And New York 2021 population is 8.8 million people. So for Hungary to help 250,000 Christians is a great deal. They're only 9.8 million in population. So to get back to the story, of the 1,300 Christian families who fled, 1,000 have returned and now lovingly refer to their villages as daughters of Hungary. Eliminating the middleman. Hungary's approach is simple. Tristan and his team travel to where Christians are hurting and ask to help. Their reception is universal. They are truly shocked in the good sense that there is someone in the world who is actually caring about their faith. In the last few months, he's visited 7 countries on 4 continents. The pure fact that someone from the Western world is actually asking these questions, that is more important and empowering than anything else, he says. We caught up with Tristan at an International Religious Freedom Summit held in Washington this summer, where in the future, Tristan hopes that more governments follow Hungary's lead to help the persecuted. What we want to achieve is next to the town that is called Daughter of Hungary. I wish there was a son of the U.S., and so do I. Defending biblical values. Increasing Hungary faces scrutiny over the traditional values from the European Union and the LGBT activists. Tensions flared this summer when Hungary's parliament, the National Assembly, passed a law to protect children from the exposure to inappropriate sexual content, including homosexual content, and to preserve the right of Hungarian parents to retain sole control over their children's sexual education. The executive branch of European Union launched legal action over the law, saying it discriminates against LGBT people. Hungary has failed to explain why the exposure of children to LGBTIQ content as such would be detrimental to their well-being or not in line with the best interest of the child, the EU explains in a statement given to Hungary 2 months ago, giving Hungary 2 months to respond. Now, how they gonna tell you what's detrimental to your child? I don't know. We are seeing a strong lobby in the European Union to push gender ideological through the European Union's directives and the legislation, and that's such a strong initiative that eventually it would be mandatory to be implemented in the member states of the European nations. So we have made this measure to protect our whole legal system from the lobby that is completely alien and foreign from the values of the Hungarian people, Tristan says. His nation constitute, adopted in 2011, is consistent with the Christian teaching. We have confirmed in our constitution that the marriage is between one man and one woman, that life is to be protected from conception. And recently, Hungary amended it to confirm a mother is a woman and a father is a man. This seemed to be a strange thing that is needed to put in the Constitution, he says. Bless. Beyond the politics, Tristan says through his extraordinary job, He has received so much more than he's given. I have been meeting with true heroes of faith in the persecuted Christian communities, and I have gained such a strength from their testimonies, from their faith, and despite all the threats and the humiliation they are facing, that also is what it was a true faith experience for me, he says. So maybe it's not a Western Christian supporting the persecuted brothers and sisters in the Middle East and Africa. They are supporting us. They have a message to keep our faith, to keep our identity in Christ, he continues. It's a message Hungary is taking to heart as Tristan shows the love of Jesus to his nation's Christian brothers and sisters suffering around the world. In our department, we never had any motivational problem because all of my colleagues are fully understanding the importance of this mission, he says. And that is amazing that everyone is on the same page. Everyone is on one accord in helping out persecuted Christians. So the persecuted Christian is always in my prayers, and I hope they are always in your prayers, because even though you may be in an area that's not experiencing persecution, you know, I think it's going to come to all of us eventually one day. And it's already coming to some of us in some ways, but not as detrimental as others are experiencing. So since I'm on this topic, please, please, please continue to pray for the Christian in Afghanistan, because the Taliban is taking over and they are killing people over there. And you know, they are out to kill Christians unless they convert. And a lot of Christians are not converting because they're not going back. They're not going back. They know the truth. And so just help, you know, keep them lifted up in prayer, everyone, and keep Hungary lifting up in prayer. My prayer is that what Hungary is doing will spread throughout the world, and that their land will even spread, even be enlarged. Their territory will be enlarged, and that what they're doing in their government, that other governments will learn from it, and will also do the same thing and more. So that's my prayer, and I'm going to end this video here. I thank you for watching. I hope you found this video very interesting and very enlightening. Please pass it on. Please spread the word of Christ, and have a blessed day. Bye.